Namash- Namaskar and a very good evening. Welcome to this week's media briefing from the Ministry of External Affairs. Before we get on to the questions this evening, allow me to share some information regarding the forthcoming meeting of guest countries and the Group of Seven, the G7, which is happening in a hybrid format this evening. I would like to read out a statement. You would recall that Honorable Prime Minister had announced, we had conveyed on May 11th that he would not be attending the G7 summit, to which he had been invited in the United Kingdom, and he would be participating virtually because of COVID restrictions. Let me state that the invitation of UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will participate in the outreach sessions of the G7 summit on 12th and 13th June in virtual format. UK currently holds the presidency of the G7 and has invited India, along with Australia, Republic of Korea, and South Africa, as guest countries for the G7 summit. The meeting will be held in hybrid mode. The theme for this summit is Build Back Better, and the UK has outlined 4 priority areas for its presidency. These are leading the global recovery from coronavirus while strengthening resilience against future pandemics, promoting future prosperity by championing free and fair trade, tackling climate change and preserving the planet's biodiversity, and championing shared values and open societies. The leaders are expected to exchange views on the way forward and on global recovery from the pandemic, with a focus on health and climate change. This is the second time that the Prime Minister will be participating in this G7 meeting. India had been invited by the G7 French presidency in 2019 to the Biarritz summit as a goodwill partner, and Prime Minister participated in the sessions on climate, biodiversity and oceans, as well as on digital transformation. I would now take the questions. We have received a number of them, and may I hand over the floor to you, Yatin, to take us through the questions.
So Siddhant from WION is asking, Pakistan has made official remarks on media reports on seizure of suspected material in Bokaro last week. How would you like to respond to that?
Look, let me say that the Department of Atomic Energy of the Government of India, after due evaluation and laboratory analysis of the material sample, has stated that the material seized is not uranium and not radioactive. The gratuitous remarks about India by Pakistan's Foreign Ministry, drawing upon a media report, indicate their disposition to malign India without caring to check or verify facts. Let me also reaffirm that India maintains a stringent, law-based regulatory system for internationally controlled items, which is reflected in our impeccable non-proliferation credentials recognized by the international community.
Next set of question is on vaccine from USA. Pranay from ABP News is asking, अमेरिका की तरफ से वैक्सीन सहयोग को लेकर बीते दिनों काफ़ी बात और फ़ोन कॉल हुए। क्या भारत को आवंटित किए जा रहे अमेरिका निर्मित कोविड वैक्सीन की संख्या या मात्रा पर कोई स्थिति स्पष्ट हो सकी है? Pankaj Yadav is asking, how many COVID vaccine doses will India receive or expects to receive as part of Joe Biden's global vaccination initiative? Parikshit from CNBC is asking any further clarity on how many vaccines are we getting from US through the first donation of 25 million doses. We have similar questions from Siddhant from WION, Madhurendra from News Nation, and Suhasini from The Hindu.
As you are aware, the US administration has announced that it will donate a first tranche of 25 million doses of COVID vaccines to identified countries. On June 3rd, the US Vice President Kamala Harris called Prime Minister on phone to confirm that India will be among the recipient countries. We are awaiting details of the exact quantity and type of vaccines to be given to India and the timelines for the same.
Praveen Gautam from Newspoint is asking, कुछ मामलों में देखा गया है कि जिन स्टूडेंट्स को भारत में कोवैक्सीन लगी है, वहीं अमेरिका जैसे देशों में पहुंचने पर उनसे कहा गया कि उन्हें दोबारा वैक्सीन लगानी पड़ेगी। भारत सरकार का इस पर क्या रुख है? क्या कोवैक्सीन को लेकर इस तरह की स्थिति और देशों में भी बनी हुई है? Rekha Dixit from The Week is asking, with neither Covaxin nor Sputnik having WHO approval, will it be a problem for Indians vaccinated with these shots to travel overseas? Saurav from News Mobile is asking, with daily count of COVID-19 cases now steadily declining, will India ask other countries to relax travel restrictions? Madhurendra from News Nation is asking, चीन भारतीयों को वैक्सीनेशंस के बावजूद वीज़ा नहीं दे रहा है, भारत का इस पर क्या स्टैंड है? We have similar question from Dhairya from Sputnik.
I think there are three distinct elements of that, so let me break it down accordingly. First, on the issue of Covaxin. Look, we are aware that Bharat Biotech has sought WHO emergency use listing for Covaxin. We hope that this process of getting this approval is completed at an early date. I understand that Sputnik has also applied for WHO emergency use listing, and that would, I think, getting emergency use listing for Covaxin would help this process. Moving on to the difficulties being faced regarding students and others who are abroad, who reside abroad but are currently stuck in India. Let me mention that MEA, in line with GOI policies and priorities, has been working actively to protect the interests of Indians residing abroad, be it for education, employment, or other reasons. We are aware of the challenges being faced by Indian students who are unable to join or return to foreign countries to pursue their studies. We have been taking this issue up with the concerned governments on priority. We have also requested students facing difficulties to contact the Ministry of External Affairs. The details are available on our website and social media handles. As for the specific case of China or the Chinese visas, look, currently persons from China, including Chinese nationals, are able to travel to India despite the absence of direct air connectivity. However, for Indian nationals, travel to China has not been possible since last November, as the Chinese side had suspended existing visas. In March this year, the Chinese embassy issued a notification about facilitating visas for those taking Chinese-made vaccines. It is understood that several Indian nationals have applied for Chinese visas after getting vaccinated in that manner, but they are yet to be issued visas. Since these Indian nationals have apparently met the requirements laid down by the Chinese embassy, we would hope that the Chinese embassy would be able to issue them visas soon. As conveyed earlier, we have been in touch with the Chinese side in order to seek an early resumption of travel by Indian citizens to China, especially those who work and study there. While we recognize the need to ensure safety and strictly follow COVID protocols, essential two-way travel should be facilitated, especially keeping in view that the fact that Chinese nationals are able to travel to India.
नरेंद्र नाथ फ्रॉम नव भारत टाइम्स इज आस्किंग, क्या अफगानिस्तान के मामले में भारत पुराने स्टैंड में बदलाव कर तालिबान से भी संपर्क करने के विकल्प पर विचार कर रहा है? Manash from PTI is asking, there was a report that India has reached out to certain factions of the Taliban which are not close to Pakistan. Can you clarify on engagement with the Taliban? We have similar questions from Suhasini from The Hindu and Siddhant from Beyond.
No, I'm not going to comment on any particular reports. Let me just say that our relations with Afghanistan are historical and multifaceted. We have been engaging with Afghans across ethnicities. As a friendly neighbor, we are concerned about peace and security in Afghanistan and the region. We support all peace initiatives and have been engaged with several stakeholders, including regional countries. As you are aware, External Affairs Minister participated in the inaugural ceremony of the intra-Afghan talks held in Doha last year. A senior official delegation attended the talks in Doha. In the recent past, we have had visits by multiple Afghan leaders to India We have also had official visits to Kabul. We are in touch with various stakeholders, as I said, in pursuance of our long-term commitments towards development and reconstruction of Afghanistan.
Anish from AsiaNet is asking, what's the update on TRIPS waiver on vaccine production and what is India's response? Sadan from Vion is asking, what has been progress on India-South Africa proposal at WTO on COVID vaccine patent? We had seen consensus for text-based negotiations. Any reaction to that?
Look, as you are aware, India and South Africa have put forward a proposal to WTO last October for a relaxation in norms of the agreement on TRIPS to ensure quick and affordable access to vaccines and medicines for developing countries. We are happy to see that our initiative has gathered support from a number of countries. As regards the current status of this process, I would refer you to the Ministry of Commerce.
Next set of question is on economic offenders. Shrinjoy from Times Now is asking, India is committed to the return of Mehul Choksi. Where do things stand as of now? Pranay from ABP News is asking, डोमिनिका में प्रधानमंत्री रूजवेल्ट स्कैरिथ के बयान से लेकर सरकारी विज्ञप्तियों में अब तक मेहुल चौकसी को भारत का नागरिक बताया गया है। ऐसे में अब तक भारत सरकार ने अपने को इस मामले में पक्ष बनाने का फैसला क्यों नहीं किया? क्या अब भारत एक पक्ष के तौर पर शामिल होने को अपील दाखिल करेगा? Gautam Lahiri is asking whether MEA has initiated any process to extradite fugitive Vinay Mishra from West Bengal, who has been charged with cow smuggling. It is reported that CBI has requested to impound his passport. Any update on this issue? Madhurendra from News Nation is asking, मेहुल चौकसी के गुनाहों का दूसरा पार्टनर नीरव मोदी के मामले में क्या अपडेट है? We have similar questions from Swasini from The Hindu and Siddhant from Beyond.
I think the questions pertain to various people and some different kinds of issues. Let me just try to convey that, as I have said earlier, we will continue to make all efforts to bring fugitives to face justice in India. As regards the specific case of Mehul Choksi, I don't have any particular update this week. He remains in the custody of Dominican authorities and certain legal proceedings are underway. As for Nirav Modi, you are aware that on April 15 this year, UK Secretary of State had ordered his extradition to India. We understand Nirav Modi is seeking to appeal against this decision. He remains in the custody of UK authorities. In respect of Vinay Mishra, I don't have any information to share on this. I would actually request you to check with MHA on specific details about all three cases. Let me add that the issue of extradition of economic offenders was discussed in the India-UK virtual summit on May 4th. The UK side conveyed that there are some legal hurdles because of the nature of the criminal justice system in the UK, but that they are aware of the issue and that they will do whatever possible to make sure that these people are extradited at the earliest.
Sudan from Vion is asking, has Iran offered India the port of Jask to build strategic oil reserves?
I am not aware of any such proposal.
Manash from PTI has a question. The Maldivian president has said that no decision has been taken on allowing India to open a consulate in Addu city. The Union Cabinet has already approved a proposal about opening of the consulate. How do you see comments by President Soli?
Look, I'm not going to comment on media reports. We actually don't see any room for any controversy on this. The opening of any post or consulate is always done in consultation with the host government.
Madhurendra from News Nation has asked, इस्लामाबाद स्थित भारतीय मिशन सुरक्षा की चुनौतियों से जूझ रहा है। भारत ने इस पे पाकिस्तान से किसी तरह की आपत्ति दर्ज कराई है?
MEA has, the Ministry of External Affairs maintains regular contact with local authorities regarding the safety and security of all our diplomatic premises, which we believe is the responsibility of the host government. I would not like to, however, comment on any specific instance in this regard.
Shrinjoy from Times Now is asking, there are reports from all over the world that the coronavirus, as we know, is the result of tweaking in Wuhan lab. Is India looking for more investigations on the issue?
Look, I think we've been very clear that we support the need for a follow-up to the World Health Organization report on the origin of COVID-19 and for further studies. And we have called for understanding and cooperation of all in this regard. I don't have anything further to add on that.
Next set of question is on EM's visit. Daria from Sputnik is asking, could you share some details about the meeting between EM Jaishankar and the Qatari National Security Advisor Mohammed bin Ahmed Al Masned? Was there a discussion on the Afghan peace process? Huma from Financial Express is asking, if you can please share more details about the agenda of talks in Kenya. Will food security be on the agenda, and what about space sector? She is also asking, when is the Indo-Africa summit and will it be virtual or in person?
Thanks. Look, as you know, EM is on a visit to Kuwait and Kenya. During his transit through Doha, he met the National Security Advisor of Qatar and had a chance to discuss bilateral issues. EM also appreciated Qatar's support in India's fight against COVID. EM is currently in Kuwait, and we will keep you updated of his engagements and interactions. As for the Kenya leg of his visit, you would have seen the detailed press release that has already been issued. EM will be chairing the third meeting of the India-Kenya Joint Commission meeting, which will provide an opportunity to review all aspects of our bilateral relations. I don't have anything else to add for the moment. As for the India-Africa summit, you are aware that this was to be held last year but had to be postponed due to COVID. We will certainly share with you details as soon as these are worked out.
Nirmala from Straits Times is asking, India-China trade went up by more than 70% year-on-year to over $48 billion in the first 5 months of 2021. What are the factors behind this rise, even though ties are going through a downturn?
I can't comment on specific trade data. I would like to highlight that trade between any two countries is dependent on several factors, and a simplistic correlation may perhaps not be accurate. In any case, trade-related matters are handled by our Ministry of Commerce, and I would request you to raise your query with them.
Anish from Asianet is asking, when would the 12th round of military talks be held with China? Madhurendra from News Nation is asking, भारत चीन के बीच अगली WMCC की बैठक कब होनी है? डिसएंगेजमेंट की प्रक्रिया में आई रुकावट पर भारत का क्या कहना है?
You would recall that the 21st meeting of the WMCC was held on March 12th, and the 11th India-China Corps Commander level meeting was held on April 9th. During these meetings, both sides agreed on the need to resolve the outstanding issues in an expeditious manner, in accordance with the existing agreements and protocols. We have repeatedly stressed that completion of disengagement in other areas would pave the way for the two sides to consider de-escalation of forces and ensure full restoration of peace and tranquility and enable progress in our bilateral relations.
I have no further questions, sir.
Thank you, Yatin. I think that brings us to the end of this media briefing. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening.